So pay attention, follow the money, think for yourself, and more will be revealed. And we better get it together to resist this, because if not, we are signing our own death warrant. 5G is very deadly, and it's a genocide, and I believe that while we were
we're gonna all go hiking if they tell us we can't hike. We're gonna go fishing.
We're here at the Salem protest, trying to figure out what's going on. It's pretty packed. We're looking for some answers that the politicians won't give. So follow me. And we're back, and we're hanging out in the central square of Salem, and just met a new friend, and we're talking about some 5G. So what's going on with 5G?
5G is very deadly, and it's a genocide, and I believe that while we were on lockup, they were working around the clock to install more cell towers. And I just wish there was anything good I could say about 5G. Not a damn thing.
Are we the first to go through this? Are we the guinea pigs?
What do you mean by we?
Have other nations installed 5G?
Oh yeah, England's way ahead of us.
Yeah.
Other nations have installed 5G, but as far as the state of Oregon, I can only speak to what I know. Eugene was one of the 16 early rollout cities in the United States, and they've been running experiments on us without our knowledge or consent, treating us like guinea pigs. We have our natural rights, and what they're doing is totally immoral and unethical.
Now, talking about like technological rollout, we're going through the second Gutenberg
deployment. Yeah, can we use the word deployment?
Deployment of the 5G.
Because it's a military grade weapon, and it's really important. Language is specific, and it has power. So not a rollout like they're steamrolling us, which is true, but this is a military grade weapon they've been working on perfecting for a long time, and it's incredibly dangerous, and they have deployed it.
Okay. Now, if we talk about like the deployment of technology, you don't want to be like, you don't want to fall behind, say like China.
Really? Do you know, you do want to fall behind China. Let me tell you why. Because China has 10G, okay? And if this is a race like off the cliff. You don't want to just blindly follow. That is a great quote, a race to the bottom. This is not a place that we want to go. China is treating their people in your wildest imagination of dystopian, like not where you want to go, no freedom. They have social scores, they have facial recognition. If they don't like what you say, they will steal your job from you, make you homeless, and make you without resources. So
what's the difference between like a 4G and a 5G?
Tremendous difference, okay? Most people are not affected by 4G. 3 and 4G, some people are sensitive to the radiation, I get that, but I'm really tough.
Intimidated by anybody. We have the courage of a lion, and through that strength, we're facing the reality, and we're taking our power back. We're taking our power back by educating and empowering others to take direct action.
Why do you think I'm letting you talk?
Thanks.
And we're back, and I'm here with my friends
Wendy.
Wendy.
And Megan, my daughter.
I'm Chad. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
What do you guys do today?
Basically, we're here to support the Constitution and to
What are my freedoms?
my pocket Constitution in case anybody gives a hard time. I can just look it up and go to see. I think what's happening in this country all over is despicable. Every one of our rights are being just trampled, and people are applauding the fact that these rights are being taken. The president himself said these are guidelines. He didn't demand that anybody do any of it.
Well, aren't the federal guidelines ending here in like the next week?
Yeah.
And then Oregon is expanding it?
She doubled down on it. And that, I find that offensive.
Why do you think that is?
Because she wants power and control. She wants to manipulate the state. She wants us to become, she's already sold out half the state to China. While the travel ban was going on starting on January 31st, Nancy Pelosi was inviting people to go to San Francisco, and our governor was hosting parties with the Chinese president of China. So I have problems with all of that.
Remdesivir, that's Remdivir, Remdesivir. And it's a drug which has been proven to inhibit the replication of the viral RNA cells in the body within just 8 days and completely cure people of it. And the government has been more focused on shutting everything down and testing, are we going to fall into, will we be fear-mongered into a totalitarian governance?
How do you feel about the idea of herd immunity? It's something right now, like New York, like 38% of people have some sort of antibody now. Like there have been so many asymptomatic carriers, so they're kind of working towards herd immunity eventually.
Absolutely. What I think about herd immunity is, well, if you look at the colonizers from Europe when they came in, and they were immune to all of these viruses, and the native people, the native indigenous people of this continent of America had never come in contact before we merged and crossed the Atlantic. And because they never had evolved with these viruses that we evolved with for thousands of years, they died in the millions. They died in the millions. So herd immunity is proven through history to work. If you have it, it'll save everyone. If you don't have it, everyone dies.
Have you had problems getting like basic necessities like
Yes.
toilet paper, right?
Toilet paper
Right.
is ridiculous.
That doesn't make sense.
Dog food, cat litter, all of it is, you can't get it.
Seeds.
Yes. Well, that's one thing she hasn't done. She hasn't released. She didn't say we couldn't go out and buy seeds like they did in
Michigan.
In Michigan, yeah. Growing our own food. How does that cause any problem whatsoever?
Ammo. It's been hard to come by ammo recently.
A freak thing, I had found ammo online. I had bought 500 rounds for my AR-15. His name is Arnold. This is Arnold.
Hello, Arnold. Is that an MMP?
It's an AR-15.
Yeah, what model?
I have no idea. We just got it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And
We've got a couple at home.
it's the most fun weapon I've ever used.
It's very fun.
Where you going next?
But I just bought 500 rounds. And I got it for less than $1 million.
Well, if it's open,
Just before, the month before the
Good luck doing
shutdown.
that now.
Yeah. Now I just ordered 1,000 rounds and it was almost
They're
30.
extending the lockdown for just sheer political control to basically stop assemblies. If we look at Washington, which is where I'm from, they're pushing all kinds of bills through while they're locking people down in their houses. They're getting money from the Federal Reserve. They're getting huge amounts of money for this. So they're getting huge amounts of money. It's about money and power over the money.
I have no idea. We just got it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And
We've got a couple at home.
it's the most fun weapon I've ever used.
It's very fun.
yeah, where you going next?
But I just bought 500 rounds. And I got it for less than $1 million.
Well, if it's open,
Just before, the month before the
Good luck doing that
shutdown.
now.
Yeah. Now I just ordered 1,000 rounds and it was almost $3 million. And plus finding them. It was really hard. But it is what it
have you
is.
been to that rally in Washington?
I'm really happy that I got all of this prior to.
Would you have a final message?
Don't let our Constitution slip away. It's too rare that we have these rights. There is no other country like ours. People are not
Did you go to university?
escaping other countries to come here because we're like everybody else. They come here to start a better life where they do have freedom. And it's not communist like Venezuela. It's good it's good socialism.
Real communism, that's right.
Yes, it's good socialism, not Venezuela's socialism. There's no such thing. Our constitutional republic is the best. Are we perfect? No. But
Constitutional Republic, if you can keep it.
if we can keep it, and the ideas of the constitutional republic are two fabulous ways.
Let's go, Cody.
So
very
that's it.
much.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Good?
Then jump on my car.
Hopefully it's not as serious as that.
No, not as serious as that. But I mean, but it would be if you took even things that we're immune to. It's not that serious for us. But if you took a man or a woman or a human being from 3,000 years ago or 5,000 years ago and took them through a time machine to right here, right now, they'd probably die from all the bacteria.
So do you think this is a natural virus or is it like a man-made bioweapon of some sort?
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have the evidence either way on that.
The theme of today was the American flag, and what does it stand for? It stands for our fundamental rights. That includes but doesn't limit it to our right to speak and to travel, our right to assemble,
Right to protest.
our right to have a fair trial, our right to find
The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness.
find contentment within the laws, and we possess those fundamental rights at all times and in every capacity. We need no permission to exercise our rights. And the theme of the protest today was to be successful, to be focused, to send a message to our legislators that it's time to reopen the economy. In Oregon, we just want to go hiking and fishing.
But what kind of a threat does this actually pose? Like the virus itself?
The virus itself?
Yeah.
Well, we have, if you would have been here just shortly ago, and I'm sure it'll be on media, there were thousands and thousands of people here. It went on for hours, and nobody's really social distancing. There were so many people you couldn't really social distance, but everybody here, you saw a lot of signs. They have a really common belief here that the virus is not a threat. If you look at Dr. Erickson, which now Facebook and Google is censoring on YouTube, he's a 40-year expert immunologist who's come out and said that the numbers are way lower than what they're saying, the actual death rate. If you look globally, the death rate, 7.8 billion of the population globally, divided by 210,000 dead from the virus, comes out to less than 1 in 38,000 people actually dead from the virus. Here in the United States, it's significantly less than 1%. We have expert doctors, clinicians from the hospital saying that they're having numbers which are 0.03% of people actually dying. Not only that, but an expert immunologist who's saying that exposure is key to building immunity, and that so isolation is actually the opposite of what we should be doing in order to evolve with evolving bacteria and viruses.
Okay.
I would like to add, what can we do? Well, two signs that we're seeing today was that the virus, it's not about a virus, it's about control. I knew that a month ago from Illinois, before looking at any data or anything, just knowing that what we were being told was manufactured and that we must fight it. I feel like we're exactly where we need to be. The tables are turning in our favor. What can you do? Stop looking outside for solutions, and by taking your power back, which we are the source of power, you change your local level. And if your state won't do it, your state governors, you go to the local and the county level. If your local and county won't do it, we're gonna do it. We're gonna all go hiking if they tell us we can't hike. We're gonna go fishing if they tell us we can't go fish.
Is that right?
So I feel like the solution is a revolution in thought. It's changing within the minds of man. It's changing the way we see ourselves in the world, and manifesting that into the independence that the nation was founded on. Every state constitution talks about men are inherently free, government exists with our consent. Let's build up off that, because the strategy of non-compliance, refusal to hold up the system, brings the system crashing down. And it's important to, whatever you do, to do something, but to take that action that's necessary to you. Inaction's a poor course of action.
The difference between 4G and 5G, 3 and 4G, most people are not sensitive. I mean, some are. I know some people who suffer, especially if there's been black mold and their immune system is weakened, then the radiation can be extremely toxic. And children whose brains are not formed, okay, they have put cell towers on almost every single school property. It's a war against the children. It's a crime against humanity.
So why would they go ahead with this? What's the end goal?
Do you really think they care about us? Follow the money. Do you think they're going to spend trillions of dollars like they do on war? They spent $6 trillion. They wanted more. They published another $6 trillion. They spent that on war. They are spending that level of money and economy on the 5G. And if you think it's to bring you a download 6 seconds faster, then I got a bridge I'm going to sell you. You have to follow the money. You have to question authority. You have to think for yourself. That makes you dangerous in this day and age, if you're willing to think for yourself and to speak out.
What does 5G target in the body?
5G is very dangerous because what is it? It targets your cells, and it's radiation. If you talk to a cancer doctor or nurse, they will tell you what radiation does to people. And one of the main things it does, I'm gonna bring in this illusion of a virus. One of the things it does is it sends your body into pneumonia. Radiation hurts your cells and makes you very vulnerable to have pneumonia. So as we look at the patterns and you hear different doctors, and I mean doctors, not people who just have a lot of freaking money who think they rule the world, but people who actually have education and knowledge.
Like a Bill Gates type or something.
Oh, you said that, not me. Yeah, type like that. The 1% who just have made themselves dictators and have designed policy. You know, I talk to my senators and my representatives at the local level in the state of Oregon. They're like, oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. Yeah, there is. There are countries who've said no to 5G. There are cities within countries that have said no to 5G.
What's an example?
And
of a
Trump
country
said,
that's-
no, let's go right here. Trump said no to 5G. So he said around the White House, within 300 feet, there are no cell towers. Now, I haven't gone to his door and asked him, I have not verified that, okay? But that's what I have found. And then also in Palm Springs in Florida, where he and Mr. Gates happen to live, half of that town has no 5G.
Okay.
So pay attention, follow the money, think for yourself, and more will be revealed. And we better get it together to resist this, because if not, we are signing our own death warrant. This is very serious. We better wake up. We better get together fast. We better save our babies, okay? We better save the children. Otherwise, my generation, I'm sorry, but you're worthless. If you don't get up off that couch and do something to protect people, you are complicit. You are in the know and you are part of the problem. So that's a generation, that's a challenge to my generation. Call me boomer, I don't care, ha ha ha, you're so cute, you're so funny. I'm not offended by your ignorance, but I am offended if you don't hurry up and wake up and get with the program, because you're part of the problem and we need solutions.
What would be a solution?
A solution, thank you for asking, that was a beautiful segue. A solution is to face your fear, okay? A solution is whatever your fear is. Oh, I'm gonna get lost and I won't make it to the state capitol. Oh, there's a noise in my attic and I don't know what it is. Whatever is fear, fear causes three things. You're gonna freeze, fight, or flight. None of those are productive. So my dad used to say, the only thing he was quoting, right, Roosevelt, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. It's been in some pop culture songs, cult of personality, and I think that's super important. I've been in public education for 22 years, and when there's a bully on the playground, you don't say, oh yeah, just go ahead and harass all the children, and it's okay if you knock Tommy out and he's in a coma for the rest of his life. No, you say, you know what, you get it together or you're out. You are off the playground. And I think that if we just stand up with truth and dignity, the truth will set you free. It might take longer to get there, but the truth, it might piss you off. But you know, if we speak the truth and we stand up to our fears and we stand up to these bullies, I think this is just a test of our EBS.
So if Trump was initially against 5G, why did he concede?
Was he against it? I don't know Trump's background on 5G. I think there's a lot of money in it for it, a lot of money in it for him. And one thing that I can probably guess about Trump is what he likes more than he likes all his ex-wives or respecting his children. I think he likes money. So I think if there's money in it for him, I mean, don't hear it from me. You know, I'm just projecting. That's not fair. I would have to ask Trump, you know, why are you supporting 5G? And I think he's following the agenda of the 1%. And that's sad, but so many people are. The corruption right now runs so deep. I think it runs almost metaphorically to the core of this planet. All these countries, and that strong guy is probably getting tired, but it's a sad state of affairs, but it ain't over. Until I start singing, this is not over, and we have to get it together, and we're gonna have to unify, and we're gonna have to have faith. Faith bigger than anything we've maybe ever had before. And I think that's part of it. There is definitely some spiritual things going on.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to say that I love children, and I would like to ask for higher power, whatever you believe in. I don't care if it's the sunshine, but I would like to ask that everyone keep an open mind and respect each other. Even if you think they're on the other side of the fence than you, That's an illusion. It's a divide and conquer. And we need to realize that we are the 70 to 98%. We need to love each other through all of our fears, and we need to be kind. I don't like that kindness campaign, but you know, there's some merit to that. No matter how you're feeling, you are accountable for your behavior. And I think that we need to treat each other with dignity and respect no matter what.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for taking the time, hearing from our community what you do. We need more journalists. We need more people who are not bought and sold by the media. We need people seeking truth and getting justice back into the world. So thank you.
Is there a website or a organization you would like to shout out?
I would just like to say that there are just below the surface, there are 5G communities in almost everywhere that have been fighting tirelessly. I know in my hometown for the last 2 years, we've gone before the city council over and over to give them.
Have you gotten any response?
They did a work party and they did nothing. It was like the most offensive, shallow waste of my time. And they're hearing week after week of the damage by doctors and scientists. We sat down with our mayor and educated her, and to no avail. I don't know, blind ears, blind eyes, blind heart. I don't know what's wrong with people, but I know it's up to us.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, this has been it. It's been fun. Met a lot of cool people, and looking forward to the next couple adventures. Stick with us, and there's plenty more to come.
You know, I'd just like to say that it looks like a lot of people are really looking for somebody to take them seriously, give them a chance to express their views. It seems like so many people are just dismissed. So we had so much enthusiasm here. It was really interesting. I had a good time.